Hello, everyone. It is an awesome privilege for me to be able to share my poetry with you today as we commemorate yet another Black History Month. We were that people, drenched in blood, sweat, and tears, and clinging to hopes and prayers, we rallied on a journey of 400 plus years. Through hills that witnessed the birth of courage as we stumbled out of the valley of fears. Wearing the hearts of braves and bearing the title of slaves, we pressed on. Armed with weapons of hard work and dedication, we leaped to reach goals once hung beyond the stretch of our imagination. And with convincing evidence that greatness resides among and within, we've defeated that struggle and forced our minds into emancipation. We are that people. A people rising like the dawn, stepping ever so cautiously as we grope in the distance, still somewhat handicapped from being shackled and restrained by the forces of resistance, taking steady steps with persistence, relying on our strength, resilience, and God's omnipresence. We are that people. So often told that we don't belong, we stepped into the ring for the fight of the ages, trying to right that wrong. We looked on while the privileges that others cherished were luxuries our limited freedoms could never afford, and to keep that ship afloat and sailing, we were thrown overboard. Powerless to close the socio-economic racial gaps, we start lingering in transition in the familiar waiting rooms of ifs, buts, and perhaps, facing harsh criticisms as we crumble and collapse. We came face to face with a reality that where what others knew as a basic human right, we've earned by putting up a fight. Bearing burdens too heavy to lay down, we press on. Carrying the cross on our shoulders that will forever set us back as we cross over, with perpetual bruises deep enough to scar our generations forever. But there was a legacy in the making, a new dawn awakening, where hope would inspire and forever reshape our thinking. For far too long we have hoped to behold the joyful morning that would one day crawl out from beneath nights of weeping. And here we are, bursting through open doors to lock hands with opportunities that time has been keeping, budding from dreams we conceived while the past was yet sleeping. We grew up through the darkness, underneath the tunnel, to stand in the face of light that once hid our presence in the shadows of its long, gloomy night. We rose with conviction, as if somehow we knew that the world would one day stand at attention when our presence would compel history to make the correction to the perception that has left us exposed to the ambush of discrimination. We walked, though weary, and hoped whilst dreary, because faith dictated that we do not tarry. We are that people whose legitimate fight for a place in the line of opportunity landed our dreams the death sentence, and the color of our skin was the key piece of evidence, a verdict that would later set a precedence in the trial of our generation by a racial system void of conscience. We are that people, forced to place our trust in a system whose bias will betray our confidence as we persevered for equality and benevolence, only to find ourselves charged once again with the crime of civil disobedience. Still aching inside with passion for who God's providence and purpose designed us to become, with raised voices we declared, we shall overcome. We stood boldly in the presence of adversity that continually showed up and delayed our destiny, to affirm that we will reclaim our identity and restore our dignity, stepping out across boundaries that many claimed we would not dare, setting our prints on paths that society neglected to prepare. Nevertheless, the journey landed us here. We found our footing. We met our moment. And here on this rising of history, though unsettled, we stand. With the torch still burning, the wheels of change forever turning, we rise to meet the future's toughest demand. We stand to witness greatness as we ourselves answer the call to be great, as it beckons to us to leap forward to fulfill the appointment with the future that lies in wait. History demands that we must carry the weight of the victory waged by our ancestors' sacrifice, And though time has tested our patience, we remain a people united by one vision and one voice. We stand to set our eyes on a day when a people once prejudiced can no longer be deprived, as out of the tug-of-war of civil unrest, a day has arrived when protests for our rights can be exercised. We grieve and we grow, drawing inspiration from that vivid historic picture where our memory of the past becomes a mentor for our future. And we reconcile that even while we were victimized, ostracized, and left almost economically paralyzed, still hurting from a not too distant past that has left us traumatized, with eyes raised to scale the skies, awakening to a whole new consciousness, though shaken, we rise. We are that people. Thank you.